Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Dream Chasers, your home for house music. I'm your host, General Moses, joined today by the one and only dance disciple, Livvy Maher. We have a great store. Do we have a great store in show? We have a great show in store for you guys today for a lot of reasons. But just to kick things off, Livvy, one, it's great to see you. I know we chatted a few weeks ago before you launched your label. Now you're in the trenches. Now you're just making this thing happen. Dance Disciple, by the way, guys, that's the name of her label, which is why we had a little joke there at the beginning. But anyways, Livvy, good to see you. And if you could just tell our viewers a little bit, where you're based and your background and story.
Oh, amazing. Thank you so much. First and foremost, I really, really appreciate you. Thank you for literally everything that you're doing and all the podcasts that you've done so far, because I know it means a massive amount to so many artists out there already and people that are trying to make their way in the industry. It's just great to see what you're bringing to the table and what you're offering. And I just love it. I love these conversations. It just feels really inspiring. So
Thank
thank you.
you. Thank you. I should say, you know what? I should say this too, guys, because we didn't just Livy and I didn't just randomly meet. I mean, I guess you could say that, but she helped my record, Soca Bomb, which came out on This Ain't Bristol in January. She helped make that happen. So that's how we first met.
Yes.
I was on a good vibe.
Yeah, it was a really exciting time, and yeah, I bet there's a whole lot more to come as well. So yeah, really, really exciting. So yeah, just to kind of backtrack a little bit and talk about perhaps where all of this started and kind of the reason that we're talking today. Dance Disciple is it's my baby. It's literally something that has been in my mind for a really, really long time. I feel like the idea kind of came to me rather than me coming to the idea, because it's just been something that I've felt really compelled to build and to do for a number of years now. It's not something that I just woke up one day and went, oh, I'm going to do this today. It's really been on my mind for a very long time. I work in label management, and I have done for the past almost 4 years. So I've been doing it for a little while, and I've definitely cut my teeth doing all of that and getting to know some incredible artists. And I really mean that. I've seen people that have got incredible potential, people that I see going very far, people who have got a lot to offer, very new sounds as well, something that's very different. And I just feel that these people became my friends as well. And like yourself, you just make friends because you all kind of figure out that you love the same thing. So it makes me think of that Spider-Man meme where everybody's just pointing at each other and going, you're like me, aren't you? And that's how it feels for me. It's sort of meeting very like-minded people. And I just felt that I wanted to support. I wanted to provide a platform that was going to give something a little bit more, that's going to allow people to express who they are. So something beyond just the music side, but something about, what's personal to them, where do they come from, what are their influences. I just wanted to give people that space to say, hi, it's me. This is what I do, and this is where I want to go. Because I feel like that doesn't perhaps exist in the way that I would like it to at the moment.
Sure.
But yeah, and these people I know from all over the world as well, which is really exciting.
And yeah, being able to be the one who kind of finds, it seems like you have a really strong desire to find the up and coming stars, right?
Uh,
Like the
yeah,
Dance Disciple will be a platform where it's like, hey, who are as we say at Tool Room, who are the leaders of the new school? Oh, it's all these people that Livy is finding. Uh, but you ended up getting a nose for finding raw talent, I would say, like myself, from
yeah.
your working background up until this point. So could you just talk about some of your professional connections and relationships and what led
Yeah.
up to Dance Disciple? Because it's a background I think a lot of people in our industry kind of wish they had.
Yeah, I can totally understand that. And I think it's something that I was really reflecting on today, actually. Kind of what it takes in your life, the journey it takes to get to certain positions where you can kind of say, hey, I can actually help you because I might know someone, or I might have befriended someone can sort of give you like a promo deal or can help you get your foot in the door in a venue if you're looking for gigs or something. And that all comes from all the work that I've done in the years prior. So, you know, when I was studying, I was doing like I was doing tickets at the door for Studio 338. I
Oh,
was
nice.
yeah, it was a really eye-opening experience doing that. And I did that in the rain. I did that in the boiling heat. You know, you learn a lot about yourself. Definitely there's more difficult jobs out there, of course, but it was something really important for me to get my foot in the door in the industry where I could as early as I could as well. And it's very grounding as well because you realize how important every single staff member is in making something happen and building an event or a venue and keeping it all going. So yeah, every single job in there counts. It's a hard work, but it's good. Um, but yeah, I mean, I was doing that. I was doing gosh, I was working at Steelyard nightclub, so I'd finish my lectures and then I'd travel across the city in London and I would go and work at Steelyard. And that was amazing as well because in the daytime they throw lots of corporate events, so I'd get to meet all kinds of different people. The catering was normally really good if we were allowed to share in the food. Love that.
Right.
Um, but yeah, I mean, that was a real grounding start for me. I would do a lot of work for hospital records as well, and that kind of came from the work experience that I did when I was in college and stuff. So that really grounded a lot of the degree that I was studying as well, because I was studying music business. And then when it came to finishing my degree, I had it really set in my head that I would work in events. I really felt that that was my future, that I was gonna perhaps work for a venue like Studio 338. I really sort of visioned that that would be the next step. And then COVID came and that was it. Gone, not happening. So I moved back from London. So I was previously living in like Acton Town, sort of West London way, and I loved it. Absolutely loved it. I would happily live there again. It was a very special time in my life. But yeah, I moved and I thought, great, what now? What could I possibly do now? You know, I'm not an artist, I'm not a DJ. I love the creative side, but I've never really done that for myself. So, you know, there's no events happening. It's COVID, the world is shut down. And I thought, I'm stuck. I'm literally stuck. What do I do now? And by some magical miracle, I found an apprenticeship and it was for Label Works, and I did label management as an apprentice. So I was working and studying on the side, and I did that with our Accelerate service. So I was helping do label management for all sorts of different record labels across the world. It was very, very exciting. And after that, I've just been doing it ever since. And you know, there's something really special about building those relationships with all the different people that you work with. And that stays with you. You create a bond with these people because you are managing something that is a part of them. It's an extension of them, you know, their labels. So that's been kind of my journey so far. Um, but you know, through that I met Sandro, who's Splash Mob, and you know, that's probably one of the top friendships, connections in my life. I feel very grateful for his friendship, and Layla, who is his singer as well, his vocalist, and she is just fantastic. And you know, this all came from a love of music. It all came from that active service as well. You know, I wanted to provide a good service for him with his label, and it just propels from there. So yeah, hope that answers a little bit of
Yeah,
your.
yeah. You know what? When we last spoke, I think we touched briefly on the mutual connection there with I do not know him as Sandro, not yet. But
Yes.
that's pretty cool. And yeah, that's awesome. So Sandro, I'm
Yeah,
sure you'll probably see at least like a 30-second clip from this interview, man. So thank you for
absolutely.
working with Livvy. She's pretty special gal. Um, what are
Thank
some
you.
other like you've got some other solid connections too. I've seen you taking pictures with Gene Ferris. You did the same Bristol connection. I'm sure there's
Yeah.
probably about a dozen other ones kind of that caliber. Do you how do you, I mean do you feel like you really need to leverage those relationships? Do you just kind of treat everyone more as just like a friend, or like just what does that world look like? I don't have the Rolodex that you do, so I'm just like curious. I'm like, who, does Livvy just have a phone for like all the
Yeah,
successful
yeah.
people she knows?
I really appreciate that question. And I think it's a really, really good one. And in a lot of ways, I ask myself these questions as well. It's not something that um, I take for granted at all. I think I feel very lucky to be in a position where I get to work with people like Jean, um, or be able to have done the A&R for the St. Bristol. That was really important to me. It was very exciting. And again, met some incredible artists that way. But I would say part of it is the career path that I have taken. Part of it is being able to take part in the music business aspect of things. So like I said before, I'm providing an active service for people. So people are saying, right, Liv, I need you to set up my label. I've got all these different releases. Can you sort it out for me? Can you speak to everybody? And I'll go, yep, leave it with me. I'll take care of it. So in that sense, it's a different kind of partnership than perhaps artist to artist, or, that kind of connection. So I feel that that might play a part in why I know certain people, because I'm able to help as well. I'm able to kind of do the management side of things. And that's what I've always wanted to do. I've always loved that. And I want to hear people out. And that's really important to me. I want to hear what people's visions are. I want to hear what kind of goals they want to achieve. So I have these conversations with people, and it feels really exciting to be able to help direct the dream in a certain direction if I can. Some of that comes down to like knocking on doors and just asking people for help. We as a community are able to help each other so much more than I think we initially realized. We all have things that the other wants. We all have either contacts, or we have friends of friends, we have venues, blah, blah, blah. We can help each other, and that's really important that we don't forget that. And then also kind of to answer your question about, how do you meet such incredible people that you look up to, people that you care about? And I think I have been trying to write about that a little bit on my blog as well, which is new to go with the label, and to kind of reflect on what that means. What does it mean to sort of look up to someone and then a few years later actually be in the room with them? How does that happen? It feels very surreal, even to me, to acknowledge that that's happened. And we were briefly talking about James Hype, because I know he's been playing your record, and I know that's like a super huge win. It's really, really exciting. I am personally thrilled for you. Like, that's just major. And yeah, it's all right. And again, we've got to champion these wins so that there can be more of them. But I would say my 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 experience comes down to the people, right? So for example, I had the very lovely, lucky experience to see James Hype last year. I think once was at Studio 338, and the second time was in Ibiza, which seems very crazy to be able to say out loud. But both of those times came through people that I knew and friendships that I had made, and people who had gone, oh, come with us, Liv. Like, come with us. I'll take you to this room. I'll take you backstage. I'll take you wherever. And these things happen because of the connections, and you don't get the connections without making the effort with people and saying what it is that you're looking for. Some of these experiences I didn't know were going to happen. It was kind of a bit of a shock at the time, but the other ones I feel come from trust, and come from that real sense of like, I would help you. If I had something that I could help you with, I would help you. And if you have something you could help me with, then I trust that you would do that. And I have played the same song. I always laugh about this. I have played the same song by James Hype for probably about 3 or 4 years, like on repeat. When you get like the end of year Spotify Your
Yeah, yeah,
most
you're wrapped.
every single year, number one, it's that track by James Hype. It's a remix. I'll have to send it
Interesting.
to you. It's really good. And it's one that you don't hear from him a lot. It wouldn't be something that you'd hear. Um, I don't think I've seen him play it out on stage or
Well,
anything.
we got to take this as an opportunity. If James was ever
Listening.
viewing or listen, like if he's listening right now, what's your message to James Hype?
I would say that I think he's probably one of the most talented people out there. And I've seen him DJ across all the different decks. I know he's a talented producer. And actually seeing him in person, he has such a like powerful presence. You do feel that when you're near him. And I felt that when I was like sort of around him, I just thought, oh my God, you can tell there's something special. I think you can feel it in the room, you can see it, and that translates to people. It does carry across. So yeah, it was quite a surreal, quite a surreal moment, but I do feel very grateful for it. And I think one of the things that I was going to mention about that song was that for whatever reason, during my apprenticeship, decided to print out a picture of the artwork. And I've still got a picture of the artwork in my collection. And I just think I listen to that song all the time. And it's been my number one song for years. And I've got the artwork. And if we're thinking, is some things like, I don't know, manifestation, is it real? I feel like I can attest to that because I've really committed to that song and it has helped me kind of end up in situations that I've wanted to be in because I really love it and I really care about it and I want to give to it. I want to be able to contribute something within that field. So,
Yeah.
these are the things that I want to be able to write about as well, because I do think there's little tidbits of information that I do think will inspire and help someone else. Especially if you feel like these things can't happen for you, because I feel like if they've happened for me, they absolutely can happen for anyone. I really do feel that, whether it's meeting your favorite artist or getting signed by your favorite label, it's possible. I don't see why it wouldn't be.
So true. So true. I mean, and also yeah, I mean, James, if you're watching, if you're listening, we got to connect you with Livvy now.
Yeah.
And I do, I admire the work that he's doing for, several different reasons, which you already touched on. But one is like, hey, if there's anyone who's really kind of carrying our industry and
Mm,
really our vibe, because like there's the whole EDM, you know,
yeah.
mega complex of like, DJs that kind of everybody's known for the past decade, the Tiesto kind of realm. But
Mm,
I feel like James is the one who's kind of bringing the music that you and I really like into
yeah,
the mainstream.
absolutely.
And I almost feel like instead of everyone trying to compete and like get to his level and see who can be the next James Hype, which I'm sure there will be. It's like, I just feel like everyone in our industry should just be cheering him on
Yeah,
because he's taken the whole squad with him.
yeah,
That's how I feel about it. So
yeah, yeah. I agree with that. Yes.
and
Very.
I had a follow up for you now, and it's slipping my mind, but I guess we'll go with this. Um, and by the way, Studio 338 is the only venue that I've been to in London. Oh, and
Really?
now I remember what I was gonna say because it was had to do with Studio 338. I'll never forget. I followed Tool Room for 7 years now, but fell in love with the label. Got into the academy. Like even just getting into the academy, that was a dream come true. Then flying out to London for London Calling 2022, that was a dream come true. I remember,
Yeah.
I was at the daytime, they got the terrace there at 338. So it was like daytime
Yeah.
terrace. Mark was not DJing yet. So I can't remember who, maybe Casey Light, someone else was.
Yeah.
And, I'm seeing all these names and people and faces and things that I've just kind of in my mind glorified for years. And now it's like, yo, I'm here. Like I'm here.
Yeah.
And then I'm
Yeah.
like talking to Mark. I'm actually like having a genuine conversation with me. He's telling me, hey, this is what you need to focus on. Like,
Yep.
okay, cool. Can't believe that just happened. Get 2 records signed by Tool Room. Wow. Okay. Friends
Yeah.
with a bunch of people from the label now. Okay. Here with you today. Okay. Like,
Yeah.
all these things, it just validates what you're saying, which is like, if you can dream it, you can do it. I know that's kind of corny for some people out there, but
No, I
I don't know how
I
else
see
to put it.
what you mean. I think it's important to have some element of a vision, right? So some sense of what is it that you want? And even just to kind of identify a feeling. It doesn't have to be something that you label. So for example, it doesn't have to be specifically, I want to be signed by so and so and I want to achieve #1 or whatever. It could just be a feeling. It could just be, I want to feel successful in my career as a DJ or as a producer. I want that feeling and it will come about. I really do feel like that's how it works. I think if you affirm what you're doing and validate yourself and do say, I'm doing the right thing, I'm really good at this and I'm going to take it where it needs to go, I'm going to take it all the way. It can happen. I think it's when people can be very hard on themselves or perhaps too critical, that, and I get it, it's producing, you do have to kind of know where the boundaries are with what you're doing, but I think it's important to have your own back and do say to yourself, right, this is my goal, I'm having it, I'm getting it.
Yeah.
And yeah, that mentality will take you far, and I think it's amazing to hear your journey as well. Like
Thank
it's
you.
exciting, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're same vibe. So,
Yes.
gonna bring this one down here for a landing, but we want to know a few things here just to have the audience kind of feel like they got to know the real Livvy a bit more today. So got a few rapid fire questions for you.
Okay.
We go from here. So yeah, first one is I guess aside from the James Hype record, what's your favorite record right now? Also besides Evaporate, which is out on Dance Disciple right now, guys. Go look up Evaporate, LJ Mills Dance Disciple. So aside from those two, what's your favorite record right now?
Okay, so I might have spoken about this a little bit previously, but I would say my favorite artist of sort of release recently is one by Hisek. Hisek is he's got a release. He had one out called The Underground, and now he's got another one out, and I'm totally gonna forget the name of it, but I remember hearing it on so Steve Angelo played it at a Tomorrowland winter set, and I saw it on YouTube, and I thought, I'm feeling something really special about this track. And I just felt like sort of an all over kind of goosebumps
Nice.
experience. And it just moved me. It just picked something up. And I went, oh my God, I love this song. And at that time, it was just an ID. Like
We'll
there was no,
figure it out. We'll figure it
yeah,
out. We'll drop if if you're listening and drop it in the comments right now.
yeah.
Help us out.
But he's absolutely super. He's definitely one that I've got my eye on for sure. Yeah.
Favorite favorite venue to go to a show at or be behind the scenes.
That's a really good question. Do you know what's really dreadfully sad about this is I was going to say Printworks, but Printworks is no longer. Um,
That was a dream of mine just from all the videos I've seen.
was it?
I hadn't
Yeah.
been there, but it's like, is there a cooler looking venue than Printworks? I'm not convinced that there is. I think they'll
Printworks,
bring it back. Don't you think?
yeah, I
They
hope
have to.
so.
That's part of the marketing. Got to build up the hype. Oh, it's back. Here we go. Sold it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm yet to go to Drum Sheds, which I think is meant to be the next step on from Printworks,
Okay.
which is in like a massive IKEA space, and it's
Right.
got sort of like the horizontal screen, so it stretches sort of further out this way rather than it being like a vertical kind of situation. Um, yeah, I haven't been, and I've heard all sorts of different things, so perhaps that's on the agenda. I
Uh,
would say outside of that, possibly the depot in Manchester, which is where warehouse events happen, especially in the winter. That's really cool. So yeah, loads. I could reel off that all day.
cool.
Sure.
What's your favorite color?
Favorite color, this changes all the time. Like right now, I'm going to go with blue, but I love asking people this question. I don't know why. It's a really good one. But yeah, blue I feel like is a good color. So yeah, I could
favorite
elaborate, but I won't.
favorite
Uh,
favorite flavor ice cream.
Strawberry,
Oh,
easy.
interesting.
Strawberry. Not very exciting. I did have candy floss ice cream once, which was in London. Best experience ever. Would recommend. Very, very good.
If there's one, love that. And strawberries, good choice. I like it. If there's one person that you could have watched this interview, aside from James Hype, who would that one person be?
God, this is a really good question. Um, oh my gosh. Anyone, literally anyone. I,
First
do you know,
person that comes to mind.
the first person that came to mind, right, is if I could have anyone, yeah. Roger Sanchez came into my head
There we go.
recently. I think he's fantastic. I think obviously he's very talented. This is not new information, but I think he's brilliant and very lovely man as well. So yeah, I would say him. I think he's super.
All right,
Salute.
somebody get
I
some.
think, oh, sorry.
Oh no, you're good.
I was going to say, I think today is celebrating 23 years of Another Chance as well. So that's
Wow.
really exciting. That just goes to show that if a track really hits an audience um, in the right way, it can resonate for decades. It can resonate with all generations of people, and it really has. So yeah, hats off to Roger. It's
Yeah, yeah,
really,
seriously.
really special.
Speaking of decades, I recently watched a Marshall Jefferson interview.
Mm, yeah,
Move Your Body, the house music anthem. And I
yes.
was like, I'm gonna have to watch this interview like 10 more times. There was so much good stuff in it. So
Well, that reminds me actually of how we were sort of speaking about James Hype earlier and about what it means to sort of watch his stratospheric success and everything. And I think there's a lot to be taken from the videos that he does as well on YouTube. I
yep,
think there's a lot of things to learn from, things that he shares, a lot of interesting advice and all sorts. It's all in there, and the fact that he shares his life is also, I think, um, goes hand in hand with his success because
totally.
people know him and feel like they can relate to him, they can relate to his team. I know of his team because of, his YouTube videos and stuff. So that was really my introduction to them as well. So yeah, it's important to be able to feel vulnerable and to share your life because I think that does help boost your artistry as well. People will be more likely to go to your shows or listen to your music if they feel like they know who you are and they know what you have to offer. So, yes.
100%. Livvy Mayer, ladies and gentlemen, thank you, Livvy, for investing your most valuable resource with us here today. Your time, real quick. What is the one best way our viewers and listeners can keep up to date with everything you're working on?
I would say Instagram for now, but we are working on something special for YouTube. So stay tuned.
Cool.
Stay
Nice.
tuned.
Is it at Dance Disciple, or do you want them to follow your personal? Which one do you prefer?
Both is fine. Both is not a problem. My personal is just at Livvy Maher, Maher, and Dance Disciple is new and growing. So if you want to get involved, just drop me a message, and I will see what we can do for you as well. It's like very exciting what's
Yeah.
coming next. So yeah, thank you.
Love it. All right, guys, you heard it. Go follow Livvy. Thank you for tuning into Dream Chasers, your home for house music. I'm your host, General Moses. We had a good time today. We'll catch you in the next episode. Remember, in all you think, say, and do, take it to the next level.